a song you weren't even listening to, drifts through a store, and out of nowhere your throat tightens and your eyes sting. Over background music, in the cereal aisle. Someone raises their voice 2 rooms away, and your whole body braces as if the danger were yours. A stranger's story lodges in your chest and stays there for days. You have felt more in a single ordinary afternoon than some people seem to feel in a week, and somewhere along the way, you learn to apologize for it. Too much, too sensitive, too intense. You've heard them all, and quietly started to believe them. But what if none of those words were ever accurate? What if you're not too much of anything? You're simply running a nervous system tuned to a finer resolution than the people who keep telling you to calm down. Today we're looking at why highly sensitive people feel everything more deeply, where that depth actually comes from, and why the thing you were taught to hide might be one of the most valuable ways a human being can be built. One quick note before we start. This is psychology for reflection, not a clinical diagnosis. High sensitivity is a normal inherited trait, not a disorder or a weakness. Now, let's begin. Let's start with the word that's followed you your whole life. Overreacting. The psychologist Elaine Aron spent decades studying what she named sensory processing sensitivity, and her central finding is surprisingly plain. Sensitive people don't take in more of the world at the front door of the senses. They process what comes in more deeply, running each impression through more associations, more memory, more meaning, before letting it go. Think of 2 cameras pointed at the exact same room. One saves a quick, low-resolution snapshot. The other renders every detail at full depth: the light, the mood, the thing left unsaid. Same room, wildly different amount of information carried away from it. So when a small moment lands on you like a large one, you're not being dramatic. You're finishing a deeper computation on the same event everyone else rounded off and moved past. Here's the question worth sitting with. How many times have you called yourself too emotional for what was really just you seeing the whole picture when others saw a thumbnail? Of course, depth like that comes with a bill attached, and you've been paying it your whole life. Aron describes overstimulation as the direct flip side of deep processing. If your system extracts more from every sight, sound, and social cue, then an ordinary crowded, bright, noisy environment simply hands you more to hold, and you reach the top of the cup sooner than the people around you. Picture a microphone with the gain turned all the way up. It captures the music beautifully, in rich detail, and it also picks up the hum of the refrigerator, the buzz of the lights, the conversation 3 tables over, all at once. The sensitivity that makes it precise is the same sensitivity that makes it overload. So the fluorescent lit store that leaves you frayed, the open plan office that quietly wears you down, that isn't fragility. It's a high-resolution instrument doing exactly what it was built to do, in a room designed for lower-resolution ones. When did you first start believing that getting overwhelmed was a personal failing, rather than the cost of noticing more than most? There's a reason other people's emotions don't stay politely on their side of the room. The neuroscientist Bianca Acevedo led brain imaging research on highly sensitive people and found that when they viewed others' emotional expressions, the regions tied to empathy and awareness lit up noticeably more strongly. Not a metaphor, a measurable difference in how the sensitive brain responds to another person's joy or pain. It's why a friend's bad day settles into your own shoulders, why a face in a crowd can pull your whole mood sideways. Emotion for you is almost contagious, the way a single yawn moves around a quiet room until everyone has caught it. The world tends to file this under weakness, but sit with what it actually is. You are equipped to feel another human being from the inside, to know what a room needs before anyone says a word. That is the raw material of every good friend, every attentive parent, every person others feel truly seen by. Has anyone ever made you feel bad for caring too much about people who wouldn't have noticed if you cared less? Beyond emotion, there's the sheer amount of fine detail you register without even trying. The researcher Jadzia Jagielowicz found that sensitive brains show greater activation in areas involved in attention to subtle detail, the small visual and situational shifts most people's minds edit out to save effort. The change in a friend's tone, the tension in a room a beat before anyone speaks, the one detail that's quietly, unmistakably off. Everyone else is skimming the page for the gist. You're reading every line, which is exhausting in a world that moves fast, and quietly invaluable the moment something actually matters. If you're recognizing yourself in all of this, the depth, the overwhelm, the way you feel everyone else's weather, that recognition is exactly what this channel exists for. I'll leave a subscribe button right here for whenever you're ready. So let me ask you this. How often have you sensed something was wrong long before there was any proof, and been told you were imagining it, right up until you turned out to be right? Now, here's the part almost no one tells sensitive people, and it changes everything. The researchers Thomas Boyce and Bruce Ellis proposed what's often called the orchid and dandelion hypothesis. Dandelions are hardy. They do roughly okay almost anywhere. Orchids are sensitive. They wilt in poor conditions, yes, but given the right care and environment, they bloom into something a dandelion simply never can. And the science backing this, developed by researchers like Michael Plewis, is careful and specific. Sensitive people aren't just more vulnerable to bad environments. They are also more responsive to good ones. They gain more from support, from beauty, from safety, from kindness than less sensitive people do. So the trait you've been treating as pure liability is actually double-edged in your favor. The same wiring that makes a harsh environment cost you more makes a good one give you more. You don't just break more easily, you bloom more fully. What might change if you stopped asking how to toughen up like a dandelion and started asking what conditions would let an orchid actually thrive? Here's the reframe I most want to leave with you. This trait isn't a modern malfunction. Elaine Aron points out that a consistent share of the population, very roughly a fifth, carries it, and that the same sensitivity shows up across more than 100 animal species. Evolution keeps a strategy like that around for one reason: the individual who notices the subtle shift, who feels the danger early, who reads the group's mood, keeps everyone else alive. You are never the broken version of a normal person. You're a different, deliberate design, the scout, the one wired to catch what the herd is built to miss. Which means the work was never to feel less. It's to manage the input instead of numbing the instrument, to protect your energy, choose your environments, and stop treating a finely tuned nervous system like a defective, sturdy one. The tiredness, the tears, the intensity you've spent years explaining away, none of it was ever the flaw. Learning to read the instrument and to trust it was the skill hiding the whole time. So here's what was actually happening every time you felt something more deeply than you were supposed to. Your mind was processing the moment at full depth, reaching capacity sooner because it carried more, feeling other people from the inside, and catching detail the rest of the room skimmed right past. None of that makes you too much. It makes you someone built to experience being alive at a higher resolution, with all the cost and all the richness that comes with it. Here's a small challenge for this week. The next time something hits you harder than it should, don't ask what's wrong with you. Instead, name which part it was: the depth, the overload, the empathy, or the fine detail, and notice that every one of them is your instrument working, not failing. And tell me in the comments, what's the smallest thing that has ever moved you far more than it seemed to have any right to? I read every single one, and I think you'll find you're in remarkably good company. If this is the first time high sensitivity was ever handed to you as a design instead of a defect, subscribe. This is a quiet corner of the internet, built for minds like yours. One quiet truth, every week. Take care of that deep feeling mind of yours, and I'll see you in the next quiet one.